So right here in this general area is where the caretaker was living at when he went for a walk up this little off-road when he found her initially.
I wasn't even sure if it was real at first. I thought it might be some kind of a prank, you know. Actually, I did reach down and touch her hand. That feels like flesh and bone to me.
When we found Anna Repkina's body, we were able to see that her feet were probably down in about this location, and her head was pointed back towards the forest here. And one of the first things we noticed when we made our way to this landing is there's pieces of trash and there was garbage. One of the biggest pieces of evidence that we found in this case was a KFC bag. Along the edge of that clear bag, there was a receipt that had the date of the 14th, so April 14th, which was only a few days prior.
Who was Anna Repkina?
Anna was 27 years old, and she came from a good, strong family in Russia. She wanted somebody to love her, wanted to have kids, and so that's why she went on to the dating websites. She happened to find Will Hargrove.
He's always trying to make people laugh, making sure that everybody else is happy, trying to push them to become the better person that they can be.
He was complimentary to her. He sent her flowers from the United States to Russia. He paid attention to her.
With everything that he had explained to me, everything he had told me, Anna was the love of his life.
The sense that you got from Anna Repkina was that she was in love. This wasn't coming to the United States as some mail-order bride.
How does Michelle Chavez fit into this case?
Well, Michelle Chavez is the other woman. She is that third part of the triangle.
He made me feel special. He has a charisma about him. It's like everything he's saying, he truly believes, and you believe it. He makes you believe it.
Especially if you're in love and you want to believe it. Yeah. And you were in love.
I was.
And it was always, I choose you.
It was.
How much pressure was he getting from Michelle to end it with Anna?
I know for a fact that Michelle didn't want Anna even over here in the States. He was basically given the ultimatum of one or the other. And 2 days later, Anna was found dead.
This is outside of Corvallis, quite a ways out in the Alsea area, and up a remote logging road.
Ryan Jocelyn and Amy Matusko, both deputy district attorneys in Benton County, Oregon, received an urgent call that a body had been found on April 17, 2017.
He and I were both on scene to take a look for ourselves. It's so important in a prosecutor's role that you understand the scene, not just from photos, but having been there.
Not too many people are going to be up in that area. But frankly, the fact that the body was discovered as quickly as it was pretty extraordinary.
Lead detective Lieutenant Chris Duffett says a local caretaker happened to be out walking his dog that day when he came across the body.
The caller was walking on this road on a day and a time in a place that he really should have never been. So we were very, very lucky to find her body. If it would have been any more time, we might have never found her.
The victim was identified as 27-year-old Moscow native Anna Repkina. She had been shot.
She was smart, intelligent. She had an office job working for IKEA. She loved cats. She loved to travel. Anna had a lot going for her. A lot of people liked her.
So how did a Russian woman who had a seemingly happy life meet her end on a remote logging road nearly 5,500 miles from home?
She had broken up with her boyfriend of 7 years and was really looking for that connection.
A year earlier, newly single Anna started looking for love online and joined a Russian social networking site. She found what she was looking for halfway across the world when she met 26-year-old Oregonian William Hargrove.
Then they started really chatting. They chatted a lot over Facebook. Then they started video conferencing. And that was happening on an almost daily basis.
Anna and Will found that they had a lot in common.
They really bonded over music. She very much loved music. She liked to go to rock concerts. They would have discussions about bands. She had a good sense of humor. She would constantly send funny memes, and she connected with her friends and her family that way.
Will and Anna exchanged thousands of messages, imagining their future together if Anna came to Oregon.
He definitely had the gift of gab.
The gift of gab. He could talk a good game?
He could. He could talk a very good game.
Will's friend and former roommate, Jamie Klotz.
He and I had things in common. Cars. He works on cars. I work on cars. I'm more Harry Potter. He's more the Avengers kind of genre, but we could nerd out on things like that. He actually took me to see my first Avengers movie. He was a likable guy, a jokester. He just liked to laugh and have fun. I enjoyed being around him.
Will worked as a mechanic at a local auto dealership. In his free time, he'd meet up with friends like Joseph Thompson at the Peacock Bar and Grill.
We would play pool over there on Sunday nights and just basically ended up hanging out, doing karaoke. I don't know how many times me and him would be sitting there playing pool and he'd just have women walk up from the bar, just sit there, talk to him. He was very charismatic. He had the personality, the presence.
Was he a player?
No, not necessarily.
Will was such a good friend that Joseph called him his brother.
We were both in the military. A lot of the training and stuff we had went through was similar, and it helped pull us together.
What branch of the service were you in?
Army.
And Will?
I believe he was Marines. He said that he used to be stationed in Russia.
Will seemed to have an affinity for all things Russian, and his online relationship with Anna took off. Anna decided to fly to the States to spend the holidays with Will in Oregon and see if their virtual love would feel the same in reality.
December of 2016, she traveled here and spent a couple weeks with William Hargrove.
But the road to romance had an unexpected detour.
There was a problem when she first came out in December to see Mr. Hargrove. She mistakenly mixed up Portland, Maine for Portland, Oregon. And she was stranded in Portland, Maine.
Amidst the chaos of flight changes, Anna messaged Will, building the anticipation to finally be together. Anna eventually made it to the right Portland and into the arms of Will Hargrove. During her visit, she posted highlights of their whirlwind romance, including photos of their trips to the coast, Will's cars, and even a Christmas wish scrawled out to her family back home.
She came here for love.
At the conclusion of this trip, she actually became engaged to William Hargrove, and they had plans to get married in the future.
Anna returned home to Russia after 10 days with a souvenir, an engagement ring from Will, and plans to pack up her life in Russia and move to Oregon with the promise of marriage.
She was excited about the wedding. She was talking about all the different style dresses and what she really wanted.
But there was going to be an obstacle in Anna's path to love.
I'm Michelle Chavez, and I was Will Hargrove's girlfriend.
In 2015, 33-year-old Michelle Chavez was living with her husband and 2 children in Albany, Oregon. Unfortunately, all was not right in the marriage.
Our relationship at that point in time really wasn't one. It was like roommates that just happened to be married. Slept in the same bed, but that was about it. Didn't really talk.
Michelle met Will Hargrove while she was working as a cab driver.
It was a kind of slow time in the summer, and I was waiting at the bar, waiting for people to call to go pick people up.
What was your first impression of him?
God, he's short.
He's short.
Yes, God, he's short. Yeah. He is short.
But that first impression gave way to something much more for Chavez, who was so unhappy at home.
He made you feel like you were in the sun when he talked to you. He had a way of being able to look at me, and I felt like I was actually seen. I felt beautiful. I felt like I was wanted.
And so Michelle and Will became much more than friends.
It wasn't a planned thing. It wasn't like it went off in my head. I was like, I'm going to have a relationship with him. It just progressed that way. This is one of him and our mutual friend, Jamie.
He was willing to give her what she needed: affection, attention.
The following year, 2016, the relationship grew to a new and somewhat unusual level, with Will renting a spare bedroom in Michelle's house, the same one she shared with her husband and kids, though it's not clear what Michelle's husband knew about her relationship with Will.
He only had to pay $300 a month and his own food, unless he liked whatever it was we were making at the time. Honestly, pretty sweet deal.
Michelle even gave Will her wedding ring, a promise that she'd leave her husband soon. But it wasn't enough for Will.
If Will had this relationship with Michelle and was in love with Michelle, why was he going on internet dating sites?
I think that it had to do with jealousy. Michelle was going to leave her husband on her terms, and it wasn't going fast enough. If he could make her jealous, then maybe it would speed things up.
Which may explain why, when Anna visited Will over Christmas, they stayed at Michelle's house, under Michelle's nose. It seems Anna knew nothing of Will's other relationship.
They were in his room most of the time. On New Year's Eve, they were getting ready to go out. Will was like, oh, maybe I should introduce you guys. And then she shook my hand, and she said her name was Anna. I said it was nice to meet her.
But Michelle wouldn't be quite that welcoming when Anna returned a few months later, on March 1st, 2017, with the intention of becoming Will's wife.
I was like, well, she's not staying here. She's not staying in my house.
So Will and Anna rented an apartment in Corvallis, a small college town not far from Michelle's home. With Will working and without a job herself, Anna spent time on her own, even joining the local gym. Life wasn't as easy for Michelle.
What did you want?
Simple. Just to be happy.
And you thought you'd found that with him?
I thought I had. But you have to actually know somebody to find those things, I think.
Turns out, actually knowing Will was going to be a bit of a challenge for everyone. Even with his new fiancée in America, he split his nights between his 2 love interests.
He really continued to float between those 2 places, back at Michelle's place and then back at the apartment with Anna.
With no clue as to why Will kept disappearing, Anna often had to resort to contacting his friends to find her own fiancé.
She's seeing him gone. In the text messages, she's reaching out to his friends. Do you know where he is? What's going on? She's becoming suspicious. Where is he going? What is going on with this time?
As it happened, Anna's instincts were right on the money.
This man was a fraud and relied heavily on deception to convince other people he was the type of person he wanted to be perceived as.
And he wanted to be something greater than he was. He told a number of people he was in the armed forces. He was never in the armed forces.
Then there's the matter of a certain engagement ring. Anna's ring, or was it?
Her and I had friended each other on Facebook. And then I saw her wearing my wedding ring.
What?
Yeah.
The ring that had been Michelle's wedding ring had been repurposed when Will proposed to Anna.
Will told Anna that this ring belonged to his grandmother and had sentimental value to him.
Anna had no idea she was wearing Michelle's ring, and on March 22nd, she was shocked to get a Facebook message from Michelle about sharing Will.
At this point, all Anna knows is that Michelle Chavez is the crazy ex-girlfriend, because that's what Will Hargrove has told her. And so Anna says, no way. You get out of our lives.
Something about me being a bitch, I believe. And I was like, I'm just getting started at being one.
Were you threatening her?
No, just being mouthy. I just meant that if you think I'm being bitchy now, like, just watch.
Just 3 days later, Anna and Will headed to the Oregon coast for their wedding ceremony.
Anna brought a wedding dress with her from Russia. She had her ring that William proposed to her with.
On the way, Will decided to stop at the local Walmart to buy their wedding bands, leaving bride-to-be Anna in the car.
While he's in Walmart shopping for his wedding ring, he is on the phone with Michelle Chavez. And he is discussing their relationship and whether or not he's going to come see her that night.
And you had no clue when he said he was in Walmart
No.
that he was like headed to a wedding?
No, none at all.
But as it would turn out, Anna and Will were not headed to a wedding.
They go to the beach and the officiant doesn't show up. So he has a phone call in which he relays to both the witnesses and to Anna that the officiant couldn't make it, he was ill, something came up.
And William Hargrove was actually calling a couple video game stores to presumably pretend he was talking to a wedding official to show him how mad he was about this day.
He never arranged for an officiant. He never got a marriage license. He didn't have anything set up.
Sadly, there'd be only one portrait of the bride that day, picking up some fast food.
The McDonald's drive-thru video is the only video or photo taken on Anna Repkina's wedding day. And you can actually see Anna Repkina in her wedding dress in William Hargrove's vehicle.
Seemingly oblivious to Will's feelings for Michelle, Anna set her heart on a rescheduled wedding date. But Michelle had other plans.
So did you give him an ultimatum?
At one point I did. I told him he had to pick one. I didn't want anything bad to happen to her. I just didn't want her here.
So you pressured him to choose.
I did.
In April 2017, the relationship between Michelle and Will hit a crossroads, with Michelle insisting Will finally choose between her and Anna. Will told Michelle she was his choice.
So April 19th was the deadline.
Right.
For both of you.
Correct.
You were going to be done with your marriage, and he was supposed to...
She was supposed to be gone, or whatever he was going to leave her.
How much pressure did Michelle put on Will to get rid of Anna?
A lot. There was a lot of pressure. There's a lot of back and forth in there between all the text messages where 1 minute it's like, clean out your stuff and get out. The next minute is, I love you, I want to be together. But we can't do that if she's here.
There are texts between the two of you with you pressuring him to choose. And at one point you told him to fix it.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
In the general sense, fix it in the sense that you would take care of it, not take care of it like take somebody out. And you would end the relationship, that you would be done.
Will told Michelle he'd tried to send Anna packing many times, but she wouldn't go.
So Michelle perceived Anna as this girl who kind of never got the hint that she was being told to leave, and she kept coming back, although Anna never knew any of this was really happening.
On Saturday night, April 15th, just 4 days shy of the deadline they'd set, Michelle was supposed to have dinner at Will's apartment.
It wasn't until about 8 p.m. that night that William Hargrove tells Michelle Chavez that she actually can't come over, that Anna showed back up, that Anna's back again, he'll take care of it.
What followed was yet another heated text conversation. Not a surprise, according to Detective Chris Dale, who says Michelle and Will exchanged more than 13,000 texts during their relationship.
Constant checking in every morning to make sure that he's woken up on time to get to work. It didn't seem as if there was an hour in a day that went by where they were not communicating.
But on that day, there was one critical text.
So Will Hargrove sent a message to Ms. Chavez, I will have this permanently fixed by 1800 tomorrow.
So he'll have the situation of Anna Repkina handled by 6 p.m. The following day, which was Easter Sunday.
That assurance was not enough for Michelle. She continued texting and calling Will, who turned off his phone. As the hours passed with no reply, Michelle's hope that Will was truly fixing the problem with Anna vanished.
I guess you made your choice. Okay. I'll let you be. Why? I just want to know why. I'll let you be. But I just want to know why.
The next morning, Michelle headed to her mother's house for Easter. Jamie was there as well.
She said that she'd spent the night ugly crying. And even though I knew what the probable answer was going to be, I still asked her, like, why? And she looks at me and she goes, why do you think? And I said, because of Will.
Meanwhile, back at his apartment, Will was dealing with a very different but urgent problem: his car insurance policy.
They've been sending him notices that if he doesn't have it paid by midnight on the 16th, they're going to cancel his insurance.
He tells them that he knows his insurance lapses that evening and he needs to get it extended for free because if it doesn't, he's going to lose his vehicle loan and they're going to repossess it immediately.
Okay. Can you guys hold off until the 21st so I can get you paid?
Unfortunately, once it is pending cancellation for non-payment, we don't have the ability to move the dates at all. And this one, yeah, so it'll be canceled effective tonight at midnight.
Just after 4:30 p.m., Michelle's phone rang. It was Will.
And what did he say?
That he had been out at the coast. He was on his way back in, and he'd almost hit a deer. He ran off the road and he had a flat tire. And he needed help.
How did he sound?
Shaken. Sad.
And so Michelle left her family's Easter celebration to go and meet Will in the town of Alsea. He waited for her at a local convenience store.
You can see him walk to the cooler where he gets a Pepsi. He goes and gets his candy bar, and then he ultimately gets a pack of cigarettes.
About an hour later, Michelle arrived.
She parks on the side of that store. We see her get out of her Prius.
I asked him what happened. Where have you been? And he told me that he, after we had talked, that they'd gotten into an argument and he said horrible, mean things to her. And that she had turned around and taken her suitcases and had walked out.
Thinking Anna had finally left the apartment for good, Michelle says she and Will got into his car.
We drove for a little bit, then we pulled off, and we were talking for a few, and then honestly we ended up having sex in the front seat.
So you had makeup sex, essentially.
Yeah, essentially. Makeup sex in the front seat.
Michelle and Will then went their separate ways, with Michelle returning to her family's Easter celebration.
She came back. She was in a good mood. She was smiling. She was happy. She looked total 180 from what she looked like in the morning.
Will headed home, but he made a few stops along the way. first at an ATM where he withdrew money from Anna's bank account.
Made a $200 withdrawal from this machine and then engaged in some conversation with some employees at that gas station, where he actually ended up hugging one of them and crying about the fact that his girlfriend, Anna Repkina, had left him.
His girlfriend, whose account he just took $200 from.
Yes.
Will then headed to a second ATM.
He goes to the Chase Bank and withdraws an additional $600 of Anna Repkina's money.
So now William Hargrove has $800 that he stole from Anna Repkina's bank account. At about 9:30 p.m. on that same night, he drives to another bank and he ends up depositing $160 of that cash into his bank account.
Will had just one more chore to take care of that evening.
Thank you for calling Progressive.
You all should have a card on file for me, and I need to make payment, please.
Several hours earlier, he has no money.
All good then? Everything's done?
Yeah, everything is taken care of. You are insured as we're speaking.
Excellent. Thank you very much, ma'am.
My pleasure. Have a good night, William.
All of a sudden, he has money and he's taking it out of Anna Repkina's bank account, who's found dead the next day.
On April 17, 2017, the day after Easter Sunday, Anna Repkina was found with a shotgun blast to the back of her head, her body left like one more piece of garbage.
Anna was discarded in this landing with the other trash. Fast food bags, cigarette cartons, candy wrappers that were here. And at that point, we don't know what's evidence and what's not, because that could either be huge evidence in this case or it could be just trash.
While investigators hoped to find a connection to Anna's killer, Will was sending Anna texts showing concern about her whereabouts after the fight he said they'd had the day before. Will also launched a bizarre deep dive online, researching time travel.
He is trying to ask for help in how to travel back in time, back to April 16th, in order to correct a horrible mistake.
His words, correct a horrible mistake.
Yes.
He even went so far as to message strangers on WhatsApp for advice to help someone he called his best friend. Will was apparently so desperate for this information, he offered a reward: his soul. In addition to his strange internet search, Will went on a shopping spree, spending more of that cash he stole from Anna, buying candy, video games, and toys.
He bought a $100-something set of Legos from a Walmart.
Will reached out to a friend named Kevin Thomas,
saying that he's spending money he shouldn't, trying to distract himself.
On Wednesday, April 19th, investigators struck a lead with the trash found next to Anna's body. A KFC receipt from 3 days earlier with a crucial timestamp.
Was there a name on the receipt?
So on the receipt, there was no name. KFC told us that there was actually a car that pulled up on that Friday, and there was 2 purchases made from that car. There was one made with a debit card that came back to Kevin Thomas, and another purchase that was made with cash.
With only one name to work with, investigators headed to Kevin's Corvallis home.
Now we're trying to put some pieces together for that case. The garbage we found was, I think, something you bought last week from KFC.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, me and my brother go to KFC.
Go to KFC?
On Fridays.
What's your brother's name, Kevin?
Will Hargrove.
Kevin and Will became pals at the Peacock Bar and Grill. Kevin, like Joseph Thompson, called Will his brother. Police continued talking to Kevin at the sheriff's office, where he offered a revelation. A few weeks earlier, Will had asked to borrow something that belonged to Kevin: his shotgun.
Did he say why you wanted to borrow it?
Just so he was going to go up and go shooting in the woods and just kind of blow off some steam.
What's more, Kevin told police that Will had yet to return the gun. With this new information, investigators headed straight to Michelle's house, where Will was staying, to question him. He answered the door.
We're here following up on a case we're working, and your name came across and I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Will then lied to investigators, telling them that he and Michelle drove up to Alsea together on Easter Sunday.
Drove into Alsea, stopped at the little market there, picked up a pack of cigarettes and drove back.
Did you dump some trash there when you were there?
Yeah, I did. On the side of the building, on the side of the general store.
But that trash that Will claimed to have left at the store was the very same that was found next to Anna's body. Investigators asked Will to come to the sheriff's office. While Will was getting ready to leave, he texted Michelle to ensure their stories matched. At the sheriff's office, investigators got to the question of Anna.
What do you know about her?
Almost nothing.
How'd you guys meet?
Met her downtown Corvallis.
Just walking around?
Yeah.
Will played down their relationship, even calling Anna psychotic.
We went on 2 dates, and then I told her it wasn't going to be anything more than that. And I was happy to keep hanging out with her, but that was all it was going to be.
How long ago was that?
Last time I saw her was middle of March.
Middle of March.
Cut it off because she decided to put on Facebook that we were engaged.
She posted that?
Yeah.
After 2 days?
Oh yeah, and it brought hell down upon me.
From who?
Michelle.
Lieutenant Duffett turned up the heat on Will and got right to the point.
So, Will, your trash was found where somebody was killed.
I'm sorry, to what?
Okay? That's what we're talking about here.
You guys are looking at me for this?
Your trash, like my partner said, was found there.
Your stuff was found at a scene where somebody died.
Yeah.
Okay? Talking to you, there's a lot of inconsistencies with your story about what happened.
That's when Will stopped talking and asked for a lawyer.
No offense, guys. You've been really kind, and I like you. And I don't mind that. But the moment that you say somebody was killed out there, that no, it just, no.
Okay. So, William Hargrove, I need you to stand up and put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for the murder of Anna Repkina.
Will Hargrove was placed under arrest. But did police have the right person in custody?
If anyone on the face of it looks like they have a motive to kill Anna, it's the other woman. It's Michelle. How can you be so sure that she had nothing to do with Anna's murder?
Just hours after Will Hargrove was arrested for Anna Repkina's murder,
What else are you going to go over at this point?
Michelle Chavez was brought in for questioning about what she was doing Easter Sunday.
Can you tell me what this is about, though?
She starts out on the wrong foot, telling police what Will had texted her to say, that they'd driven to Alsea together.
And he picked you up at your mom's house at that time?
He did.
Okay.
Immediately, Michelle reverses herself, admitting what she had just stated was false.
That's a little bit of a lie. He called me. He was going to pick me up. And then he did it.
Why did you lie to them?
Honestly, I wasn't thinking, and I don't have a good answer.
I want you to know right now that Will's under arrest for murder.
Okay. Okay.
Investigators say Michelle didn't seem at all surprised when they told her Will had just been arrested for killing Anna.
How are you not extremely upset right now to know that the person who you were romantically involved with?
I am very upset right now. I'm very upset right now. I don't understand how that can be a person that I have spent the last year and a half with.
I was numb. It didn't make sense.
Over a year later, in July 2018, Will was formally indicted for Anna's murder. The defense would go on to spin an entirely different theory of the crime, one that had Michelle pulling the trigger after arriving from her family's Easter celebration. According to them,
the defendant had taken Michelle Chavez up to the location to have a conversation with Anna, and Michelle had taken the gun out from him and shot Anna.
a few pieces of evidence had given investigators cause for concern. For one thing, Michelle mysteriously ended up in possession of Anna's phone. Michelle blames Will.
I didn't realize it was hers. He had given it to me, I guess, the night before he got arrested.
Michelle's own cell phone records showed that a month before Anna's body was found, Michelle had visited that exact spot on the logging road. Michelle claims that's only because Will brought her there. But could she have been scouting the location?
The defense says that Will loved Anna, that he was starting a life with her, that you're the one with all the reasons to kill her. What do you say to that?
I had no reason to want her dead. No reason to kill her. I do get how it looks. But her being dead is nothing I ever wanted. I want her to go home.
Did you ever tell Will to kill Anna?
No.
Days after Will's arrest, his friend Kevin's shotgun was recovered from the back of Will's vehicle. Evidence supports there'd only been one killer.
Will Hargrove's fingerprint was on the shotgun. Michelle Chavez's DNA was never on that shotgun. Michelle Chavez's fingerprints were never on that shotgun.
Piecing together various security cameras, investigators tracked Will's drive with Anna to Alsea.
We see the defendant's car that's distinct for various reasons traveling along a certain path, and gave us location as well as time frames.
But it was GPS tracking that gave police an even bigger piece of the puzzle, with Will's phone pinging from the murder site from 4:35 to 4:48 that afternoon.
The reason we have that is because he called Michelle Chavez.
Michelle Chavez, who was still at her mother's house at that Easter celebration.
We don't have any forensic data or information that was left at that crime scene to suggest that Michelle was at the crime scene on that day.
And remember that video of Will shopping at the Alsea convenience store as he waited for Michelle to arrive?
Towards the top of his bald head, you can see what appears to be smaller black dots.
Raising the question, could it have been blood spatter?
We can't tell you if that was blood. We can't tell you what that was. But we can tell you it was there before he met Michelle Chavez. Subsequent photo comparison afterwards showed that those spots weren't moles. They weren't anything that was there permanently.
There was one more heart-wrenching piece of evidence found in the trash alongside Anna's body from another fast food drive-thru.
A receipt from McDonald's in Newport, Oregon, dated on March 25th of 2017.
March 25th, the day that should have been Anna's wedding day. Will's trial got underway in October 2019.
The original witness list was 131 people. Eventually, I believe close to 70 people testified.
The trial took a month. Will Hargrove was found guilty of Anna's murder, as well as identity theft and 2 counts of second-degree theft for stealing that money from Anna's bank account.
I want to talk about Anna Repkina for a minute. And I placed her photo on the witness stand to remind everyone of a life that was lost. Contrary to speculation,
Will's sentencing was held in January 2020.
She came here with hopes and dreams to find somebody that was loving her and start a family. She doesn't have that anymore. The defendant very nearly got away with this crime. It was his own trash that betrayed him.
You were receiving a sentence of life imprisonment.
Will received a life sentence with a possibility of parole after 25 years. Michelle says living under the scrutiny of people in town wondering what she knew or didn't know became all too much.
How bad did it get for you? Bad enough? Bad. Bad.
She had an incident in which she couldn't take the stress anymore. And almost didn't get the police there in time.
Michelle says that in June 2018, she tried to take her own life.
I tried to die. I'm still here. It didn't work.
As for the young Moscow native who flew to the U.S. with the promise of love,
I think you have to remember Anna as the sweet, loving, caring person who put herself out there to be loved. Because Anna was loved. She was loved alive, and she was loved after.
Aspen has a reputation for glitz and glamour.
Love you, Mariah. I love you so much.
You know, the billionaires have replaced the millionaires here. But it's so much more than that. It's always been a place of pioneers, people who came out here with this Western pioneer spirit to start all over again. It was this wild and free-spirited Aspen that Nancy Pfister belonged.
When I met Nancy, she was beautiful and vivacious. She turned wherever she was into a party.
And this is where all the rich and famous people come.
She could turn the Black Plague into a party.
Sorry, it was a rough night.
Nancy was an Aspen princess. Her father owned the ski mountain. My name is Mark Seal. I'm a contributing editor at Vanity Fair, and I call Aspen home. All doors were open to her.
Yes.
She was known by people all over the world.
She dated Jack Nicholson, and she dated Michael Douglas. Everyone knows that. There was only one Nancy Pfister.
I was at my desk that night and heard the scanner call, and we heard the word murder, and we looked up the address, and sure enough, it was her. It was all hands on deck.
A common thread that we were receiving was that anyone who had ever met Nancy Pfister was a potential suspect.
Can you just say that again? I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Anyone who ever met Nancy Pfister was a potential suspect?
You didn't want to be on Nancy Pfister's bad side. She was a tough, strong woman.
Woe unto you who messed with Nancy Pfister.
Even Nancy Pfister was really no match for a killer who approached her at her absolute most vulnerable. Nancy Pfister was murdered in her sleep with several blows to her head.
Everybody wanted to know what. Everybody wanted to know how. Everybody wanted to know why. And everybody wanted to know who.
I'm Maureen Maher. Tonight on 48 Hours. Murder in Aspen. No one could believe it. One of Aspen's true originals, Nancy Pfister, was dead. Bludgeoned in her own bedroom,
911, what is
her
the
body
address of
bound
the
with an
emergency?
electrical cord, wrapped in plastic garbage bags, and hidden underneath sheets in her closet.
I got my friend in the closet.
Whoever did this really did this in an extremely horrible way. I mean, in her bed, in her sleep. I mean, can you imagine?
Suddenly, doors were being locked and alarms turned on.
The Aspen residents wanted to know that they were safe. This was a very big deal for the community.
And a very big deal for Deputy DA Andrea Bryan.
I was feeling a little bit of fear.
It was her first homicide case, her first visit to a working murder scene.
And you don't know what your reaction is going to be to seeing a dead body.
And the first time she had smelled death.
Could tell immediately that there was a body in that room.
Yet, strangely, the room itself did not look like someone had just been beaten to death.
It wasn't particularly bloody. There was hardly any visible blood at all, except for a small smear on the headboard, a very small smear.
With the death of Nancy Pfister, Aspen lost a piece of its history, a member of its royalty. In this part of the world, the Pfister family is as much a part of the landscape as the trees for which the city was named.
Behind me to the west is Buttermilk, and that's really what made the Pfister family part of the royalty of Aspen.
Family friend Tim Mooney is talking about Buttermilk Mountain, one of Aspen's world-famous ski hills developed by Nancy's father, Art Pfister.
Art Pfister was definitely a Clark Gable kind of bigger-than-life, kind of movie star character. He had the real stuff.
Art Pfister met his match in wife Betty, says CBS consultant Mark Seal.
So Betty Pfister was as epic as Art Pfister. She was a legendary World War II woman pilot. She flew gliders, hot air balloons. She had a brightly colored helicopter that she called Tinkerbell. I mean, these are people who were adventurous to the end.
And they passed on that adventurous spirit to all three daughters, especially Nancy. She was a real heartbreaker, says close friend, artist Michael Cleverly.
She had a lot of boyfriends. As a rule, they didn't last terribly long. She was a complicated girl. I'm sure it was hard for her and hard for the boys in her lives.
Nancy Pfister was perfect casting for that moment in time in Aspen history, the era of gonzo journalist Hunter S. Thompson, an iconic figure who defined the drug culture in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Nancy and Hunter were a team, and they'd laugh and cry, but they were always at the top of the heap.
Hey, are you ready? I'll be showing you all the rich and famous people that I know.
Pfister, seen here showing off her hometown in a documentary.
This is the house of Jack Nicholson. So you can just kind of follow me and I'll show you the creek and a little pond.
Never settled down long enough to get married.
People like to have their privacy, and that's what we have here.
But she did have a little girl named Juliana.
She absolutely loved people. She was a complete social butterfly. When she walked into the room, it was just like a energy force field. It was, you know, like a bright light. I've never met anyone else in the whole world like my mom. She was just a really, really special person.
If you came into town, you would end up meeting Nancy Pfister.
When Kathy Carpenter came into town, she was a single mother working as a bank teller. She met Pfister, and the two became fast friends.
Either you love Nancy or you hate her.
Yeah, and I loved her. There was just something special about her. She introduced me to art, eating sushi, drinking champagne.
It sounds like she really took you, introduced you to places you had never seen and might not have ever seen if it hadn't been for her.
Exactly.
In return, Kathy says Pfister expected her to take on a sort of personal assistant role, something that occasionally led to friction in their relationship.
She could be demanding, Kathy, would you go get that? When she'd leave town, I'd watch over the house, collect her mail, help her pack.
And did she pay you to help her do those things?
No.
Despite their conflicts, Kathy Carpenter says she cared deeply for Nancy. And on February 26, 2014, when Pfister had not been heard from in several days, it would be Kathy Carpenter who went to check on her.
My friend is in her closet dead.
Nancy came of age in a magical era of Aspen. She was 14 when John Denver wrote his Aspen anthem, Rocky Mountain High, which made the whole world fall in love with the place.
But over the years, Pfister grew tired of those famous Rocky Mountain winters. Each year, she would escape to someplace warm. That year, she was planning a trip to Australia. However, the Princess of Aspen had limited access to the family fortune. So to pay for the trip to Australia, Nancy Pfister decided to rent her home and took out an ad in the Aspen Times.
The ad read, 3-bedroom house, 3.5 baths, house on the mountain, no cats.
Nancy Styler, a world-renowned lily pad expert, and her husband Trey, a retired anesthesiologist, were looking to leave Denver and start over in Aspen to rebuild a once prosperous life that had fallen on hard times. Starting over at what age?
I'm 62 and he was 65.
Their problems began when Trey developed a serious neurological disorder and could no longer practice. Then he lost all their savings in an unsuccessful lawsuit. What kind of debt were you in at that point?
About $500,000.
They had to move from their home and beautiful water gardens.
A happy family with one small problem.
The cultured life they had worked so hard to create, seen here on this HGTV special,
and modeling the latest in pawnware,
slipped away.
Gore-Tex waders.
He was so distraught that he was talking suicide.
But Nancy Styler, who had also attended medical school, decided it was her turn.
I said, I can go back to work. So last year we went back and we both got trained in Botox and laser and thought that we'll go to Aspen and start a spa.
In October of 2013, they answered Pfister's rental ad.
And I came upstairs and she was in a bathrobe with pearls and a glass of champagne.
Soon, the two ladies were bonding over their love of organic gardening and the possibility of launching a business.
She said, I love the idea of having a spa. Do it right here. The concierges from the hotels will bring their clients to you.
Well, you must have just thought you paid her.
Died and went to heaven. And when I said that to her, she said, it's karma, darling. And I thought, okay, this is it.
The Stylers agreed to give Nancy Pfister $12,000 up front, 3 months' rent. And did you have that $12,000 cash?
We had most of it. We gave her $6,000 3 days after we met her. We thought that, this will work out okay.
Apparently, so did Nancy Pfister. She invited the Stylers to live with her for the next month before she left for Australia. In return, Nancy Styler, a fastidious cleaner and expert seamstress, would help her get ready for the trip.
Before we gave her the money, she treated me as an equal. Once we gave her the money, I became kind of a slave. Get my cigarettes, get my champagne, get this, do that, rub my feet, rub my neck. I want you to alter 22 Brooks Brothers shirts. I've never been treated so poorly by anyone in my life.
How testy did things get between you and Nancy Pfister?
She pushed me to my limits, and I didn't know I had limits.
But the Stylers had already paid Pfister $6,000, and fairly certain they were not going to get any of it back, they decided to stick it out.
For you, this was all about the house. I just got to get this person out of the country.
Door. I'm going to fulfill my obligations, get her packed, and get on with business.
She says her one saving grace was Pfister's friend and helper, Kathy Carpenter.
Kathy Carpenter and I started commiserating.
About what?
About how she used people. Kathy had been her personal assistant for no pay for many years.
Did Kathy describe herself as personal assistant or friend who did favors?
I think Kathy described herself as friend who did favors. Nancy described her as a personal assistant.
The two women became close friends and even agreed to share care of Pfister's Labradoodle Gabe while she was in Australia. And so Nancy Pfister left her dog and home in the care of Nancy and Trey Styler and said goodbye to Aspen for the winter. In November 2013, Pfister flew to Australia, leaving Kathy Carpenter in charge of collecting the rent.
Did they ever come up with the additional $6,000?
They did in December.
Who did they give it to?
To me. I put it in the safe deposit box, and I emailed Nancy to let her know that they did pay the $6,000.
Even though the Stylers say they had paid the rent, by January, Pfister, from the other side of the world, was complaining they had not, and that they also owed her for utilities.
She was on Facebook saying awful things about us, sending us emails. You're liars, you're cheats, you're taking advantage of my good nature. You owe me money for this, you owe me money for that.
In February 2014, before the Stylers even had a chance to launch their spa business, Nancy Pfister announced she was coming home 3 months early and issued Kathy Carpenter her orders.
Make sure that those effers are out of my house.
She was that angry.
She was angry. She wanted them out.
The eviction came so suddenly, the Stylers were unable to remove thousands of dollars worth of spa equipment, which was being stored in Pfister's garage. On February 22nd, the same day Nancy Pfister arrived back in Aspen, the Stylers took a room at the Aspinault Lodge. The following day, Pfister handed Kathy Carpenter a note to give to Trey Styler.
Do you remember exactly what the note said, Kathy?
Well, it was just a list. I want money for this, I want you to pay me this.
Pfister had demanded almost $14,000 for utilities and damages to her house, says Carpenter. She also threatened to get a restraining order to keep the Stylers off her property.
She said, I'll hold on to their property until they pay me in full.
And why does the subject of handing the note to Dr. Styler bring you to tears?
Had I not handed him the note as she had asked me to, she may still be here today.
Aspen has always been a place for dreamers, but the Stylers' dream of a fresh start was quickly dying. 3 months after arriving, they were broke, homeless, and locked in a bitter dispute with Nancy Pfister over property and money.
Nancy was a tough girl. She was supremely pissed off. I'm sure she was hell on wheels.
Pfister was denying the Stylers access to her home and their expensive spa equipment. But after learning Pfister had no legal leg to stand on, the Stylers marched right back up to her house, prepared to fight for their property. But they didn't have to, says Nancy Styler, because Pfister was nowhere to be found.
The dog greets me at the door, pees all over me, and I was upset because I thought Nancy's leaving this dog alone with no way to go out to the bathroom.
Styler says they packed up until 4 in the afternoon. And still no Nancy Pfister. They returned the next morning to finish the move.
It was the same as when we left. I thought that she just took off.
Styler admits she did notice a foul odor coming from Pfister's bedroom closet, but says she didn't put two and two together. You haven't heard from her.
Right.
You know the dog is alone.
Right.
And you're in her bedroom and it smells horrible. It didn't occur to you to look in the closet?
I didn't have the key to the closet.
And yet, Styler was worried enough, says Kathy Carpenter, to call her 3 or 4 times that day.
She said, you know, I'm just really concerned. Some things are fishy around here.
Carpenter, who says she had not seen or spoken to Pfister in 3 days, went up to the house that Wednesday after work.
I went into the bedroom, called her name, looked around.
And that's when, she says, she saw it. Blood. That small smear on the headboard of Pfister's bed.
Then I was very concerned, starting to panic. I walked towards the closet and it was closed and it was locked. And there was a strong odor. It wasn't right.
Carpenter says she tore out of the house, got a spare key at her own home, and then rushed back to open Pfister's closet.
I was hit with the most atrocious, awful odor. I saw that there was something wrapped. I screamed out her name.
No! Oh my God.
I jumped in my car.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
911, what is the address?
She immediately brought up the trouble between the Stylers and Pfister.
She had some people living there. She really pissed them off.
Were you thinking at that moment that the Stylers may have had something to do with her murder?
I did, yes. They were there in the house. They were there moving out on Tuesday. They were there Wednesday. Who else but them?
Kathy, stay in the vehicle.
Carpenter was so hysterical,
Kathy, let's put you in here, okay?
she was taken to the emergency room and sedated, while law enforcement started following up on her lead.
5:30 on Thursday morning, I hear pounding on the hotel door. I looked out the door and there's all these policemen. I said, Trey, is this a dream? And one of the policemen answered, it's not a dream, that's a dead body. And I said, who? And they wouldn't answer.
You really had no idea. Nancy Pfister's been missing for a few days. There's a bad odor in the room, and you can't think of anything?
Right, and Kathy went to the emergency room, and I knew it had probably something to do with that, and they were questioning us because we had lived there.
The Stylers were separated, put in prison jumpsuits, and interrogated. Nancy Styler's interview is audio only.
She treated me as an equal until she got our money. And then she treated me like a slave.
And what really struck out to me was how she couldn't stop talking about how horrible of a person that she thought Nancy Pfister was.
She's a liar, she's an alcoholic, and she is the most self-loathing person that I've ever met. There is not one person who said a nice thing about her.
It appeared that there could have been enough anger there that she would actually have been the one who killed Nancy Pfister.
She told us we belonged in a trailer park in Basalt and that we were trailer trash. I have never been disrespected by anyone in my life as much as I've been disrespected by this woman.
With respect to Trey Styler's interview,
Do you feel bad about that she's dead? A little.
he really exhibited some very strong anger.
She had screwed us up big time.
On the other hand, Trey Styler did not look capable of killing somebody, says DA Chief Investigator Lisa Miller.
He's obviously an elderly man.
I couldn't beat up a kid.
He's bending over, he's holding his head, he's telling us over and over how infirm he is, how weak he is. We came to the conclusion that Mr. Styler could not have perpetrated this crime and moved the body by himself.
Despite their suspicions, investigators did not believe they had enough evidence to show probable cause. And after 12 hours of interviews, the Stylers were released. But then, a huge break in the case. Just 100 yards from this motel where the Stylers were staying, a trash collector emptied a garbage can. And purely by accident, he happened to notice items belonging to Nancy Pfister, the murdered woman he'd just seen in all the news reports.
We find a vehicle registration for the Stylers Jaguar in the same bag with personal items belonging to Nancy Pfister.
And there it was, in there with everything else. An old hammer with Nancy Pfister's blood on it. The murder weapon. And on one of the plastic bags, DNA that matched Trey Styler's profile. 4 days later, the Stylers were arrested
in connection with the Aspen murder
and charged with first-degree murder.
I kept thinking that I would wake up from this horrible dream, being treated like a criminal, being shackled, wearing orange, being paraded in front of the media with cameras like I was walking down the red carpet. Every piece of dignity in my life was taken away.
But there was something nagging at investigator Lisa Miller.
The murder weapon was...
That evidence drop seemed almost too good to be true.
Right here.
And then they found that missing key to Nancy Pfister's closet, just a few yards from the Stylers' motel room.
Did these educated professionals really make that severe of a mistake?
Investigators started looking at the possibility that the Stylers were being framed, or that someone else was in on it with them. Someone like Kathy Carpenter.
She had some people living there, and she really pissed them off.
Kathy Carpenter was a little bit too quick to point the finger at suspects after discovering the body.
What would be her motive to kill Nancy Pfister?
She did have motive because Nancy Pfister treated her badly at times. She hurt her.
And investigators say Carpenter's actions following the murder confirmed their suspicions.
Just a day after the body was found, she went to Nancy Pfister's safety deposit box at Alpine Bank and took $6,000 of Nancy Pfister's money and 2 family rings.
But Pfister had given Carpenter legal access to the safe deposit box, and she insists she took the money and rings for Pfister's only child.
She said to me, anything ever happens to me, you make sure that Juliana gets this ring.
Investigators did not believe her. 11 days after the Stylers were arrested,
she's the 3rd person to be charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder.
Kathy Carpenter became the 3rd person charged with the murder of Nancy Pfister.
They came banging on my door, and they arrested me for the murder of my friend, is what they said.
News of a 3rd arrest in the slaying of Nancy Pfister had all of Aspen buzzing again.
If the murder wasn't shocking enough, then come the suspects. I mean, first you have the doctor and his horticulturalist wife, and then you see the bank teller. I mean, everybody's wondering what went on here.
Kathy Carpenter says she was as shocked as anyone else. She had just bought a new outfit to wear to her friend's memorial. Instead, she sat in an orange jumpsuit alone in a jail cell.
I could hear the music, and so hurtful. I cried.
I have never seen anything like it.
Defense attorney Greg Greer believes Kathy Carpenter was a scapegoat in an investigation so flawed they even got the 911 call wrong.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Help me. Oh my God.
According to the 911 transcript, Kathy Carpenter said she saw blood on Pfister's forehead. But prosecutors insist no one could have seen any part of the body because it was covered with a sheet.
In your opinion, investigators believed this was their most important piece of evidence,
Greer was dumbfounded when he listened to the 911 call himself.
I saw blood on her headboard and the closet was locked.
I listen. It says headboard. She said headboard. She didn't say forehead.
I saw blood on her headboard.
Prosecutors admit the error, but say it's only part of the story.
That was one statement. She made numerous statements about the body that had raised huge red flags in our mind.
Statements like these.
She's dead, full of blood, wrapped in a thing.
There's just one problem, says investigator Lisa Miller.
There is no way in looking at this you can say this is full of blood, and you definitively cannot say this is Nancy Pfister. How could she know her friend was dead? How could she know it was her friend?
Nancy Pfister's been missing for a few days. There's a bad odor. The body is locked inside Nancy Pfister's closet. It seems reasonable that she would think she's dead.
And if you phrase it like that, sure, it seems reasonable, but look at how the body was found. The body was covered up.
But Kathy Carpenter insists she did see the plastic bag wrapped around Pfister's head, and it was translucent enough to give her an impression of what was inside.
I looked down when I saw there was some hair and blood. I just assumed it was Nancy. Who else?
So now they had 3 people in jail. Kathy Carpenter, Nancy Styler, and Trey Styler, all there because a judge determined there was enough probable cause to make the arrests. But prosecutors still had to build a case against 3 different people that would hold up in court. What was your working theory?
The theory was that they were all involved in some aspect of the murder, whether it was the planning of the murder or the ultimate cleanup.
Brian believes they bonded over their resentment of Pfister, but they still only had physical evidence against one of them, Trey Styler. That DNA they had found on the bag containing the murder weapon.
Is there any DNA found of Nancy Styler?
No.
But you still think that she's involved, even though there's no physical evidence?
Absolutely.
Nancy ruled the roost, if you will. William Styler didn't make any moves without Nancy.
And investigators believed she was the one who most wanted Nancy Pfister dead.
I didn't have a great relationship with her, but what would that have done for me to kill her?
Did you hear Mrs. Styler say threatening or menacing things about Nancy Pfister?
You know, in the very beginning, and she made some threats. I'm just as angry at her, I could just kill her.
Did you say that you wanted to kill Nancy Pfister?
I said at one point in time that I'd like to kill her, yes. I did say that.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good, but if every person who said that was taken at their word, how many times have you said, I'd like to kill her?
But District Attorney Sherry Kaloya says someone did kill Nancy Pfister.
After someone says that, people don't ordinarily end up dead.
And Brian says, even more curious.
Here's Nancy Pfister, who had asked to get a restraining order and had told them that they cannot come to the house. And now they seem totally unconcerned about whether or not she finds them there. Well, the reasonable conclusion is because they know that she is dead.
And what about all those phone calls Nancy Styler made to Kathy Carpenter before the body was found?
Why did you keep calling her?
Because she was going to be picking up the dog, and it was important for me that she came and got that dog and that she knew what was going on.
While there could be an innocent explanation for that communication, the explanation can also be that they're talking about the body and what is going to be done with the body in the closet and how it's going to get out of the closet.
A good story, but where's the proof? Styler's attorney, Garth McCarty, wants to know.
Speculation and conjecture were all they ever had against Nancy Styler.
But investigators were convinced they had the right 3 people in jail, and in time they would eventually turn on each other.
I have them in jail, and you have to worry greatly what they tell me.
So what you're telling me is your wife was probably in on it then. Is that true? Did she have anything to do with Nancy's death?
Did you have anything to do with the murder of Nancy Pfister?
Nothing whatsoever.
At no point did you think that, was there any way that Trey could have been responsible for this?
Never even crossed my mind. I thought for sure in my little courtroom in my mind that Kathy had done this.
Did you kill Nancy Pfister?
No.
Did you take a hammer, hit your friend in the head, wrap her up in plastic, and leave her to die in a closet?
No.
As the alpine snows began to melt and winter gave way to spring, 3 people, Kathy Carpenter, Trey Styler, and Nancy Styler, watched the changing of the seasons from behind bars, waiting, as was all of Aspen, for their day in court.
There was anticipation of the trial when everything would come out. People were eager to hear exactly what happened, why, and then all of a sudden another bombshell.
And I was blown away. I was blown away.
It promised to be one of the most sensational murder trials in Aspen history.
Did you ever worry that you might be convicted?
No, because I'm totally innocent.
Kathy Carpenter wasn't nearly as hopeful.
If they don't find the truth out and they send me to prison, I can't live.
Then a shocking development. It was one of those moments that rarely happen in real life. The courtroom is packed, everyone is desperate to know what will happen next. And then a bombshell. 3 months after being hauled off to jail for murder, Trey Styler tells the judge he knows who did it, who killed Nancy Pfister. He did, and he says he did it alone. Both women were released from jail. Trey Styler had agreed to tell all the details of the crime in exchange for a 20-year sentence and his wife's unconditional freedom.
Peacefully.
Nancy Styler can never be charged in connection with Nancy Pfister's death.
If he said, I'll take the hit, I'll throw myself on the sword,
right.
Would you let him do it if you were involved?
No, if I had done it.
Or been involved?
No, absolutely not. I couldn't have lived with myself.
According to Trey Styler, he left his wife sleeping at the motel and went to Nancy Pfister's house to try to reason with her. The door was unlocked. He went upstairs to her bedroom.
He said it bothered him that our whole lives were falling apart and she was there sleeping peacefully. And he snapped.
And suddenly it occurred to me that I could rid myself of this problem once and for all by killing her.
Trey Styler says after retrieving a garbage bag and a hammer from the garage, he returned to the bedroom and began hitting Nancy Pfister in the head, again and again, until she was dead.
And then he puts the bag over her head after he kills her.
Right, and that was to keep the bleeding to a minimum.
This feeble-looking man in a wheelchair says he then pulled Nancy Pfister's body onto a sheet on the floor and tied her up with an extension cord.
And then just by inches at a time and by squatting and pulling, he moved her deceased body inside the owner's closet.
Trey Styler says he then threw the murder weapon and items belonging to Nancy Pfister into a bag, put it into his trunk, and eventually tossed it into that trash can. Lisa Miller admits Trey Styler told a believable story. The problem is, she doesn't believe it.
You don't believe that confession?
No, not fully, I do not.
You believe Nancy Styler had something to do with that murder?
I do.
Do you believe Kathy Carpenter had something to do with that murder?
Kathy Carpenter saw that body before that body had been wrapped and packaged as it was. Kathy Carpenter had something to do with the murder or the cleanup afterwards.
Brian agrees, but says they had no choice but to take the deal, that they simply did not have enough evidence against the 2 women to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt in court.
We can't create evidence against them that's just not there. I saw this as really one of our only opportunities to get some closure.
But Nancy Styler's attorney says the prosecution is just trying to save face after throwing 2 innocent women in jail for over 3 months.
It is one of the worst investigations that I have ever seen. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Somebody needs to lose their job over this.
From attorneys and investigators to family and friends, many people in this town are adamant that there are still unanswered questions, including Michael Cleverly, who wants to know how Trey Styler could have committed this crime on his own.
He and I are the same age. I think I'm probably in a little better shape than he is. And if I have to pick up an 80-pound bag of cement, it's a big adventure for me.
It's hard for people to believe that you as his wife in no way helped him murder her, wrap the body up, drag it into a closet, and then clean up that place meticulously where there's only just a little bit of blood left on the headboard. And you want people to believe you had no idea that that happened.
No knowledge of that at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
The charges may have been dropped, but both women say the prosecution's continued insistence that they were somehow involved in Nancy Pfister's murder has convicted them in the court of public opinion.
What does the name Nancy Styler mean now?
My reputation was shining, and now I'm guilty by matrimony.
Carpenter lost her job at the bank and the employee housing that went with it.
This was home. I loved living here.
She now lives with her mother in another town. Unlike Nancy Styler, Kathy Carpenter still faces the threat of prosecution should more evidence be found.
It just really hurts me to think that people might think that I was capable of something like this. There's no way. There's no way.
The snow is once again falling on Buttermilk Mountain, and the murder of Nancy Pfister has finally faded from the headlines. But friends still mourn.
You just lose one of the pillars of joy when you lose a character like Nancy.
And a daughter is still grieving.
She was the person I loved the most in the whole entire universe. She is the person I love the most. But I bet if she wasn't my mom, she would have been one of my best friends.
Aspen endures, as it always does, but Nancy Pfister will not soon be forgotten.
I want to do whatever I can for Nancy.
Last April, after 13 months behind bars, Trey Styler sat down for an interview with Daylene Berry, who was writing a book with Styler's wife, Guilt by Matrimony, in an effort to clear her name.
I did snap. God, I wish it had never happened.
He talked about the day that he killed Nancy Pfister.
I did not intend to kill her. The thought never went through my conscious mind, oh, I think I'll kill her. Or I'm going to kill her. First thought I can remember having is, I did kill her. Past tense.
Styler insisted he acted alone.
One thing I know beyond doubt is that Nancy not only had no involvement in it, she had no knowledge of it.
After Trey Styler went to prison, Nancy Styler changed her name, moved to another state, and filed for divorce.
I've been trying to hang on and not do something definitive. Suicide.
4 months after this interview, Trey Styler hanged himself in his prison cell.
"48 hours to miss it would be a crime."
Were you at all prepared for what happened in this case?
My name is Steve Maudlin. My wife and I have a small farm. Come on. And we raise sheep, market lambs and breeding stock. The farm has always been a sideline. My primary job was as a special agent with the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. Running a farm is a lot like working in an investigation. Every day presents challenges, pieces of a puzzle that need to be put together.
Agent Maudlin, set the scene for me. Where are we?
This is the Saluda Mountain Lodge in Saluda, North Carolina. And this was owned by the Mintz family. And Vanessa Mintz had worked the night shift as the night manager.
She was hilarious. She was hilarious.
Do you want Santa Claus to bring you?
She had a very quick wit. She was this natural maternal life of the party, too.
Come back and see us in the morning. Okay, we will.
Ms. Mintz was very well respected in the community. She was connected through her church and her activities. Ms. Mintz worked with young girls in etiquette with beauty pageants.
Vanessa helped me with public speaking and building confidence. She was like my support team. She made me a very strong, independent woman.
February 19th, 2011, never leaves my mind. I find it really strange because Mom has not texted or called.
You arrive at the lodge. What do you see?
I see the door standing open.
Jessica came in through the employee entrance into the main guest quarters here and immediately noticed her mother in the bed back in the bedroom here.
This is not right.
When she got to here, she could see her mom on the bed.
It's very dark, and the only illumination in the room is coming from the TV.
And her mom was on her left side and had her arm up over her face. She also called her sister, who was a nurse.
And Andrea said, Jessica, is she breathing? Have you checked her pulse?
And she just screamed, this blood-curdling scream.
Vanessa had been shot once in the face and once in the forearm area. This was certainly a very violent death. There was no forced entry. The cash drawer in the front office was open and was empty. There's nothing out of place except for her shoes on the bedroom floor and a shotgun shell. The fact that she is in bed in her night clothing, it is my opinion she was ambushed.
Does that suggest she may have known her killer?
Yes.
My heart has been ripped out, and it's laying in there dead with her. This can't be true.
This was money and sex driven. And how disgusting is that to murder someone for?
I'm Peter Van Sant. Tonight on 48 Hours, The Ultimatum.
We see this picture that is mounted before us of one who is very precious to our heart, who gave an example in this community.
I can't imagine life without her. I won't be able to live without her.
At a memorial service in Hendersonville, North Carolina,
Hey, Sam. Thanks for
Jessica
coming.
Freeman
Hey, sweetheart.
and Andrea Gray paid tribute to their beloved mother, murdered at their family-owned mountain lodge.
Your whole world shatters. Nothing looks right, nothing feels right.
That sentiment is echoed by Vanessa's husband of 2 years, Travis McGraw. His father, Willie, will never forget his son's reaction.
He was very emotional about the way he was speaking. You know, he was just like breaking into tears.
I think the victim here was a well-liked lady, good lady, sweet lady.
Who would have done this to your mom? Not your mom.
There was fear that a killer was on the loose, roaming this beautiful community nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains. What are you thinking?
I just kept thinking we're not safe.
Because
Jessica, whoever did this is still out there.
Correct.
Vanessa's life revolved around her loved ones and her deep-rooted faith.
Mom's heart was so big, and she was very trusting and very forgiving to a fault.
Vanessa Mintz came from one of the most prominent families in this part of North Carolina, going back 9 generations. Her father, Carl, was a Baptist preacher for 40 years. He and his late wife dedicated their lives to their only child.
She was our love. She was her mother's heartbeat.
Early on, they taught Vanessa the value of sacrifice and helping others, taking her on Christian mission trips around the world.
She became engrossed in that.
At 18, Vanessa married her first husband, had daughters Jessica and Andrea, and continued her mission work. She also became a successful real estate agent, opening her own company.
She loved challenges. Even if it was in a field she had no experience in, she thought, well, I can figure this out.
She'd say, well, why not? We can tackle anything.
She was unstoppable.
So unstoppable, she was soon a prominent leader, supporting new businesses and honoring other local women leaders.
She was just a mover and a shaker.
Longtime friend, Marcia Blythe Cunningham.
She did not let the grass grow under her feet because she was always busy doing something.
That something included molding those aspiring young beauty queens, like Heather Waldbart, who in 2006 won the town pageant and today is a professional dancer.
She always wanted us to go after our dreams. She was someone who always wanted the most for you.
While Vanessa was thriving professionally, on the personal side of life, she was lonely. Her first marriage ended in divorce when the couple grew apart, and a second brief marriage failed too. But then, in early 2008, Vanessa, who had just turned 50, met someone new.
She's like, ladies, I have met my cowboy.
It was Travis, 9 years younger, a married father of 2 who had just separated from his wife.
She was very excited about him.
It was just a fast friendship that moved into a budding romance that just really took off like wildfire.
One reason for this burning love was that, like Vanessa, Travis believed in service. He was in the Air Force Reserves. He had also been a firefighter, an EMT, and was now a police officer.
She loved that he was a civil servant and had his commitment to the Air Force.
The romance started when Travis was looking for a new home, and Vanessa was his real estate agent. Before long, he was courting her.
Her phone was constantly going off. It was just an explosion of text messages. And him dropping by.
Dropping by her office?
Bringing treats to the office, bringing dinner to her on her shifts down at the motel.
Travis was charming and loving to her.
It has brought the sparkle back to Mom's eye.
Seems like the perfect fit.
It did.
Travis's dad thought so too.
She took interest in the children. He took interest in her children's children. And, there was just a real good, happy camaraderie going on there.
After Travis's divorce, the couple eloped in 2009.
They just loved life together, and they loved doing things together. He was such a running partner for her.
But someone wanted Vanessa Mintz dead.
And I love Vanessa, and I miss her. She was always good to me.
We've got to find this killer.
A killer who left behind a calling card.
We worked the crime scene in great detail and found a crucial piece of evidence that only the killer could have left.
It was a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day for February.
The details of discovering her mother that Saturday morning are deeply etched in Jessica Freeman's mind. While Vanessa had been working the overnight shift at the front desk of the family's mountain lodge, her husband Travis was 12 miles away, spending the night with his son, 17-year-old Taylor.
And so the morning of February 19th, 2011, you get up.
I get up and I find it really strange that Mom had not called me.
Jessica headed right over to the lodge, where she was going to take over from her mom.
As she approached, she noticed the door was partially open, which again was very unusual to her.
Normally this would be closed.
Correct.
Chief Investigator Steve Modlin.
Now the lights were off, the shades were closed, the television in here was on.
I started calling her name. Mama! Mama! And there's no sound, but this TV is so loud, so loud.
The only light in this room at the time was coming off of the television. So try to imagine that light dancing on the image of her mother lying here on the bed in this darkness. It's almost a macabre kind of scene.
It is, and it's confusing.
And I look up and there's splattering on the mattress and her pillow. And I said, oh, Mama, you've got to wake up. You have thrown up.
In the lighting and in the situation, she had not put it all together.
Her first call was to Travis.
And I said, you've got to get down here. You've got to get to the motel. I thought you were supposed to be at the motel with Mom. Mom is sick. He goes, what do you mean your mom's sick? I said, she is sick. You need to get down here. Well, I'm at breakfast. And I was very curt to him. I was rude. And so I called my sister. And I'm like, oh, Andrew, you've got to get down here. Something is terribly wrong with Mother.
As a nurse, Andrea had dealt with trauma.
And Andrea said, Jessica, you've got to look and see if she has a pulse and if there's a rise and fall to her chest. And I saw there was no rise and fall to her chest. And what was making her face look so funny was that there was a hole in her head.
Modlin's investigators had quickly confirmed there had been 2 shotgun blasts. One hit Vanessa's arm.
The wound there would tend to be a defensive wound.
And that second shot to the front of her head.
This was a brutal, brutal shooting.
Yes, it was.
Prosecutor Alex Bass.
It was obvious that the money was gone from the till. There was no money found there. So the first impression you get is it's a robbery.
Just $200 had been taken. But why, investigators wondered, did the killer leave behind an expensive ring on Vanessa's finger?
We also noted later that on these shelves was a stack of Vanessa's jewelry, visible and out, where she had taken it off the night before.
There was no sign of a struggle, but whoever shot Vanessa left behind a clue.
The only thing of note in here was a pair of Vanessa's shoes right here on the floor, and next to them was a single 12-gauge shotgun shell, a spent fired shotgun shell.
What thief would come in, take the money and say, well, I'm now going to go into the bedroom and shoot this person who's asleep? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly my point. A robbery would get you 6 or 7 years in North Carolina. Murder would get you life or death.
Soon, Vanessa's stunned family gathered in front of the lodge.
I was so scared. And I just remember just falling in the dirt with her. And we just held each other and cried and screamed. I've never screamed like that before in my life.
Andrea then called her grandpa Carl about his only child.
I just put the phone down, told my wife, I said, Mama, something's wrong over at the lodge, and I need to go quickly. And out the door I went.
And I'll never forget the look on Papa's face.
And this is the man that has been a strength in our foundational rock, and nothing can crumble him.
The whole thing was completely unimaginable.
I'm looking for some derelict that's come by stopped in and robbed and shot and gone. I even said to the SBI that I wanted him to turn every stone that was necessary to find the perpetrator. I said, I want to surrender that person to God for judge and jury.
Everyone wondered who it could be.
Who was this? Is this someone against our family? Is this someone who it was just a roadside robbery? You think of all those things because you're trying to make it make sense.
I think it's somebody looking for drug money or traveling money.
And Jessica was already angry at one member of the family, Vanessa's husband, Travis.
I had such anger that he wasn't there to protect her, that he had left her vulnerable and somebody had broken in and killed her.
And the direction the investigation was heading would soon make everyone far angrier.
Travis McGraw had a lot of secrets he was not wanting to share. A whole nother life that he had.
There was blood stains on the bed. There were blood stains on the wall behind her.
A shocking murder of a beloved mother at her family's mountaintop lodge. Cash missing from the till. A shotgun shell on the floor. Despite all that, prosecutor Alex Bass wasn't buying that Vanessa Mintz's murder was a robbery gone bad.
What was striking about the crime scene was that that apartment was as neat as a pin.
Investigators started from square one.
They began looking at all the family members, and the first thing they started to do was to get the phone records for them.
Once police obtained Travis's cell phone records from the phone company, they found some romantic text messages. The problem was, they weren't from his wife.
They led to discovery that he had a girlfriend on the side.
This is Mary Beth Fisher. She was just 27 when she met 44-year-old Travis McGraw, Vanessa's husband.
He was very charming. He seemed very warm, very kind-hearted, eager to help, eager to give advice.
Travis had followed in his wife's footsteps and was now working for a real estate company here in Hendersonville. And that's how he met Mary Beth. She was looking for a new place to live with her young son after recently separating from her husband. So you and Travis went out to look at some various properties?
Mm-hmm. He was very helpful. He definitely was there with any phone call to answer the phone or answer any text with whatever question I had.
And just like Vanessa, Mary Beth found Travis to be an impressive fellow.
He was in the Air Force, fireman, EMT, police department.
What Travis left off his resume, Mary Beth says, was that he was married.
He just looked at me and said, "No, I don't have anybody."
No one at all?
No one.
You're a good boy.
She says her relationship with Travis revolved around text messages and phone calls.
Did you guys have a romantic relationship?
We were not sexually involved at all. I was in such a vulnerable state, I wasn't looking so much for a romantically involved relationship.
Mary Beth says that they didn't have a sexual relationship, so is she lying?
Depends on what sex is, as a recent president once said.
No sex, she says, but lots of love.
At one point, we shared the words, "I love you."
But there were warning signs about Travis's commitment. He refused to introduce Mary Beth to his children.
Did it strike you as odd that he'd never invite you over to his place?
Yes, it did. He was really adamant about his kids not knowing who I was.
Then, at the hospital where Mary Beth worked, she learned from a coworker that Travis was married.
I'm mad.
You're mad?
I'm mad. I should have just said adios.
Mary Beth says Travis then told a new story.
He then proceeded to tell me that he wasn't with her now, that they were still business partners. They were separated. She lived in one of her properties that she owned. He lived in another property, that they did not live together.
Now, were you buying that?
I bought it.
Within weeks, Travis had another problem. Vanessa found out about Mary Beth.
I'm not exactly sure of the method of how she learned. She just became completely withdrawn from me. She couldn't eat. She couldn't drink. She was so sick.
Jessica and Andrea say their mother was determined to save her marriage and made the dramatic decision to confront Mary Beth face to face.
The Wednesday night before she died, she went to her apartment and begged and groveled and pleaded with her to please leave my husband alone.
They really said that?
That's what they said that their mother told them.
Lord, absolutely not. I never met her.
This didn't happen.
No. If it did, then the relationship would have been cut off right there.
Then, more drama. Mary Beth says one day she was spending time with Travis and he ignored his ringing cell phone.
And I say, okay, excuse me, can I have your phone? And I said, please show me where your texts are.
Mary Beth then read a text message from Vanessa.
And it did say, thank you for running errands for me today. And I believe I saw the word love in there. I shut his phone, I gave it back, and I said, get out of my house.
Mary Beth says Travis burst into tears and pleaded for forgiveness. They parted.
And then once I calmed down a bit is when I text him.
Her words were plain as day.
You need to make a decision on who you want to be with. And I said, if you want to be with her, then be with her. That's fine, but you need to make a choice on who you want to be with.
Mary Beth's ultimatum came with a deadline. It was Thursday, and he had until Sunday to decide. Less than 48 hours later, Vanessa was shot to death.
Travis wrote me, if you haven't heard yet, Vanessa was at the motel last night. Someone broke in, robbed the cash drawer, and killed her.
You gave Travis an ultimatum. You told him to choose. The next day, Vanessa is murdered. Did you think that was just a coincidence?
It's so weird to say. In my mind, I thought it was a coincidence. I just didn't want to believe this man was capable of doing something like that.
Special Agent Steve Maudlin had never believed that Vanessa was murdered by a stranger.
This is not a place you see traveling down the road and think, I'll stop there. You're going to have knowledge that this is here, that this exists.
And once Maudlin got those text messages from the phone company, he was convinced that Travis was the prime suspect. And he made one crucial mistake.
Sitting right there on the floor, plain as day.
That sounds like a big piece of evidence.
Well, it was. It was the big piece of evidence.
That shotgun shell left behind by Vanessa's killer was a telltale clue.
Point down range, pull the trigger, and then pull back on the forearm. That will eject the fired shotgun shell.
And Shane Green of the State Bureau of Investigation demonstrated for us how he tested Travis's shotgun, the same kind of gun he's using here.
The fired shotgun shell that was recovered at the lodge was one just like this.
After the murder, Travis McGraw voluntarily gave police the 4 shotguns he owned. He was trying to cooperate and had no idea the police had found a shell casing. His truck had also been searched.
In his truck, we found a shotgun shell in the door compartment of the same brand and size shot and specifics as the shell from the crime scene.
Among Travis's shotguns was this Mossberg model. So Green loaded the same kind of shell that Travis used and fired it.
You're telling me you can fire this weapon and there will be distinctive markings on the back of this shotgun shell? It would tell you whether or not this shell was fired from that gun.
That's correct. There'll be microscopic markings, imperfections, striations, scratches.
And when Green compared the shells he fired from Travis's gun against the one at the crime scene, they were almost identical.
And how precise is that match in your professional opinion?
In my opinion, it's a 100% match. That shotgun shell was fired in the shotgun provided by Travis McGraw.
Investigators now had that forensic evidence on top of the text messages that included Mary Beth's ultimatum. 4 days after the murder, police arrested Travis McGraw and charged him with first-degree murder.
In that moment, when you heard that?
My knees buckled.
I just laid my head on the table.
And Papa said, no. No, no.
But the wheels of justice turned slowly in this part of North Carolina. Travis spent 13 months in jail, and then his family was finally able to raise his $750,000 bail, and he was freed. The sisters say he lurked around them ominously in their neighborhood.
We saw him a lot.
He would be on the side of the road.
Would he look at you as you drove by?
And wave at us.
Or do this.
Do this?
Mm-hmm.
Like a gun thing?
I don't know. He would do this.
I guess you could interpret it how you wanted to.
Even with the strong case against Travis, prosecutors then offered him a plea deal consulting with Vanessa's daughters. Second-degree murder with a sentence of 16 to 20 years. They wanted him to plead guilty rather than rolling the dice at trial, since the only physical evidence was that shotgun shell.
And so we all just felt like that this was in God's hands, and if this was the way that the state felt they needed to proceed, we are supportive of the state and we would move forward.
On the advice of his lawyer, Travis accepted the deal. But when the day came in March of 2014 to finalize it,
please be seated.
A shocking development.
So at this point, the state would ask, does the defendant wish to accept the state's plea offer or not?
No, sir.
At the last moment, Travis changed his mind about pleading guilty.
I think it's because in my heart and in his heart knows he's innocent. We had a conversation to that effect privately, that he told me that he was innocent, looking dead into my eyes.
How can he not just be horribly, horribly disappointed? I mean, we were really thinking that today, at the end of the day, we could be at the end of this chapter.
3 long years after their mother's murder,
I'm thankful that we're finally to this point. We're exhausted.
Jessica, Andrea, and their families are finally headed to court for the trial of Travis McGraw.
Let's call you first witness.
Heidi Latham.
I mean, it was loud enough.
Heidi Latham, a friend of Vanessa's, takes the stand. Heidi was staying at the lodge the night of the murder and was startled awake.
It was definitely a whooshing sound. I felt like something was banging against the building, probably the echo, so it was pretty loud.
Unable to fall back to sleep, Heidi left the lodge. She noticed Travis's red truck.
And where was the red truck parked?
Parked in front of the breezeway.
Remember, Travis had told police that he'd spent the night with his son here at Vanessa's house, about 12 miles from the lodge. Heidi's testimony contradicts his story.
Captain William Beauchesne.
Air Force Major William Beauchesne, Travis's former commander, then testifies that he contacted police shortly after word spread that Vanessa had been murdered. Why? Because Travis had already tried to collect on the $100,000 military life insurance policy he had on Vanessa.
Why did this cause you concern?
I was shocked that within
10 to 12 hours, I was
Overall, go ahead.
within 10 to 12 hours, I was receiving an email inquiring about insurance.
Ms. Fisher, if you'll come around and be sworn in.
Then it was time for the prosecution's star witness to take the stand. Travis's former girlfriend, Mary Beth Fisher, who continues to insist their relationship was platonic.
It was not a physical relationship as a married couple or a boyfriend-girlfriend would have, that element of it. It was just heavy texting, and it did get emotional through texting.
You're two adults, both been in marriages in the past. It seems like a very normal next step that you would have been romantic, had a physical relationship.
It does, and now looking back, I kind of wondered why he didn't want that. Yeah.
Mary Beth tells the jury about that ultimatum she texted to Travis.
If you want to be with her, then be with her, but make that choice on who you want to be with exclusively, is what I texted him. And then I said, then let me have an answer on Sunday.
Did there come a point?
Mary Beth tells the court she only asked Travis about Vanessa's death one time.
The only thing I've ever said to him about this whole case was, how do you feel? Now, after all this has happened, and his response was, I feel relieved for her because of financial issues that she was having.
Vanessa's family says money was a bit tight at that time, but no serious problems. Prosecutors laid out their strong evidence about that shotgun shell, which they said put Travis in the room where Vanessa was shot. Only one witness remained who could refute that story, Travis himself.
Did you shoot your wife with that shell?
No, sir, I did not.
He testifies that he went target shooting the day before on this open land near the airport and had put the spent shotgun shells in his pocket.
After I went shooting that day, I felt like I'd pulled all the shells out of my pocket. When I changed clothes, if that one fell out of my pants, that's where it's come from. But that's the only way a shell got out of my gun, got into the Saluda Mountain Lodge that night.
But there's a problem with Travis's story. A cell phone expert testifies that the cell phone in Travis's pocket that day was nowhere near where he said he was target shooting. Finally,
I have 2 Air Force Achievement Medals, an Air Force Accommodation Medal.
Travis falls back on his resume.
And so we did everything we could to keep the fire contained to one side of the base.
Trying to charm the jurors,
I was given another Air Force Achievement Medal.
Just as he had charmed Vanessa and Mary Beth.
What could he possibly have to say? It's like being in the room with pure evil. It feels gross.
You didn't feel the need to tell her that you were married to Vanessa Mintz, did you?
No, sir.
You were in love with Mary Beth, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
You wanted to be with her, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Tell the court about that.
But defense attorney Tony Dalton doesn't want the jury to think that love was Travis's motive for murder.
Did you kill Vanessa because of that dead alone?
Absolutely not. Nobody deserves what Vanessa got. No.
The defense calls Taylor McGraw.
But Travis has one more hope to sway the jury. His now 20-year-old son, Taylor, testifies that he believes his father was in the house with him all night because nothing woke him up.
Pretty much anyone walked past the room, they would, even if the door was closed, because of the vibrations, it would cause the dog to bark.
So the only way your father could get out of the house, out of that room, was to go past the dog?
Correct.
What other signs?
But on cross-examination, Taylor acknowledges he wasn't exactly a light sleeper.
Do you recall telling the SBI agents that when you sleep like a rock?
Yes, sir.
But Willie McGraw is convinced that his son is innocent, and he hopes the jury will find it impossible to believe that a former military man and police officer would have been so careless as to leave behind a shotgun shell and keep a murder weapon at his house and then give it to police.
My son is probably arrogant. He's a little high-strung, but he ain't stupid.
No, sir.
After 7 days of testimony, 17 witnesses, 85 exhibits,
This being a first-degree murder case, it's high stakes.
closing statements begin.
But I submit to you, not being a faithful husband doesn't mean you're a murderer.
Defense attorney Tony Dalton reminds jurors to focus on the facts and not Travis's questionable character.
Mr. McGraw, you may find to be a person of bad judgment. You may find his character to be not up to your standards, but that's not the question here. Give Mr. McGraw a fair trial. And if you find a reasonable doubt, find this man not guilty.
That's what I want to talk about first.
Prosecutor Bass takes his turn, saying all the evidence points to Travis McGraw's guilt.
The defendant did it. He had every reason to do it. He had the means and the motive and the ability and the smarts to try to frame it up as a robbery. But he wasn't nearly as smart as he thought he was.
That's because Travis left behind that shotgun shell, the critical piece of physical evidence tying him to the crime.
And that was the defendant's biggest error, because that shell landed on the floor. But in the passion and heat of trying to escape, he didn't go back in that darkened room.
Bass tells jurors the motive for murder.
He was in love, or what passes in the mind of Travis McGraw for love, because we all know that that's an infatuation.
And by killing Vanessa, Travis thought he would have what he craved, $100,000 of insurance money, maybe even Vanessa's house. Enough to impress his new girlfriend.
The defendant had every reason, in this case, to kill his wife. He can go on being the white knight for Mary Beth. When you start putting all those facts and circumstances together and then put the evidence of motive on top of that, you get a complete picture of this defendant. And the picture that you have of this defendant is guilty.
All right, members of the jury, all the evidence has been presented. It is
Now, after some final instructions,
when you have unanimously agreed upon a verdict, notify the bailiff by knocking on the jury room door.
the judge sends the jury out, and the wait for that knock begins. Hoping for a quick verdict, no one strays too far from the courtroom. Vanessa's family on one side, Travis's on the other.
I'm really nervous about the whole thing. I'm on edge a little bit, especially since the jury's not come back in yet. Travis, he's got a confident feeling about it.
2 hours pass.
What's that wait like?
It's so hard. The minutes are heavy. Every sound, every creak in that old courthouse room, is that the knock at the door?
We'll be in recess till 9:30 in the morning.
The jury is dismissed for the day.
All right, Mr. Sheriff, you'll bring the jury in.
And returns the next morning.
You're just sitting there just praying on nice edge.
Lunchtime passes, but still no knock. More waiting in the courtroom. Throughout deliberations, Vanessa's family prays. It's all too much for Jessica.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I understand there is a verdict.
Finally, after 8 hours of deliberating,
The feeling in the room, the energy, it was just electric when that knock came upon that door, that the jury was ready.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you take the verdict, please?
Judgment Day.
Mr. Foreperson, you have returned into open court as a unanimous verdict of the jury that the defendant, Travis Lee McGraw, is guilty of first-degree murder.
Guilty.
Guilty.
And when you hear that word, after all you've been through,
It's just...
And just minutes after the verdict, he's slapped with the maximum sentence.
The sentence would be by the court a life in prison without parole. Good luck.
And to hear those words, guilty, and you will spend life in prison, I felt like since February 19th, 2011, that I finally took a deep breath.
The former police officer is now a convicted murderer.
You could have walked away and left. You did not have to kill her.
I don't want to have feelings of anger because he's going to be getting his just reward.
Do you sit at night and wonder to yourself, I may have been the motive that Travis used to murder his wife?
I have thought about that, and I feel bad that that thought is out there because honestly, nobody thinks that when they're involved in this situation or give somebody an ultimatum, that that person would go and shoot the person that they're involved with to get out of the situation. That's just not reasonable. Normal people don't do that.
For the Mintz family and the community she once served,
Come back and see us in
Vanessa's spirit lives on.
Hey, Jessica, it's Mom.
Jessica treasures this last voicemail from her mom.
I was just calling to say hello and to check on you. I hope everything's going well for you. I love you.
And the influence she had on everyone around her.
I want my mother to be remembered for who she was, not how she died. A passionate Renaissance woman that was able to tackle the world, and to be near her was to be blessed.